Ipiakju Tadamare from Ipiakju and Kingite. Ipiakju is also known as Arctic Bay, and Kingite is also known as Cape Dorset on the high Arctic, in the eastern Arctic. Where do you think the Isikisimo lived in the Arctic in the wintertime? What kind of houses?
Igloos.
A lot of people think we lived in igloos. Because there's a lot of books that tell you we lived in igloos. But those books are not telling you the truth. We never lived in igloos. And we don't call them igloos. They even changed the name on us. What we call them are iluviga. Iluvigas were only used for short-term housing. Maybe while the man's out on the land hunting, he would build an iluviga just to stay for a few nights. Or maybe me and my family are on the move. This land we're on is no longer useful. Isikisimo would pack everything they had on their backs, walk to a location where the land is going to be more useful. While they're walking there, they start to get cold or tired. So they're going to build an iluviga just to stay overnight. Where the Isikisimo used to live in the Arctic in the winter, up north, we have no trees, but we have lots of rocks. So we would take the stone from the land, and I would stack the stone. And my winter home was a stone house called Hamma. Hamma was my winter home. We would stack the stones, then we would take a jaw from a narwhal or beluga whale, use that as a structure of my roof. Then I would take traditional skins, and traditional skins was the roof of my Hamma. Then we would take sod and we would put it in the little cracks and holes of the rocks. Then we would take traditional skins all the way down to the ground. My Hamma, I couldn't walk around like this inside my Hamma. The whole time I'm in my Hamma, I either have to crawl or squat down, walk around my house like this all the time. It's because my Hamma was a really little house. The reason why my Hamma was such a little house, it was because so it would heat up faster and it would stay warmer. So I didn't have this big open air to heat up. That's why my Hamma was a really little house, and my Hamma was my winter home. Iluvigas were only used for short-term housing. At first contact, when the Government of Canada and the RCMP found us, some of us were in our iluvigas because some of us were on a hunt, some of us were on a move. When they saw us in our iluvigas, they automatically thought we lived in them all winter long. And they told all of you guys we lived in them. Little did they know, iluvigas were only used for short-term housing. My summer home in the Arctic, it is called a tupik. This is my little miniature tupik. My tupik, we have big rocks and boulders at the base of my tupik. We have these long ropes that go all around my tupik, and more big rocks and boulders at the end of the long ropes. Why do you think the Eskimos put these long ropes on our tupik?
Stability?
Not for, I can't say stabilization. Stability?
Stability, yeah.
No, more important reason why we put up these long ropes.
Safety.
These long ropes we put there for protection from the animals. Let's say at night the Eskimo family sleeping in their tupik and a polar bear can smell food, goes over to their tupik, it gets all tangled up on these long ropes. It would make a ruckus, wake up the family inside the tupik. Therefore the hunter had enough time to get his bow and arrow, or today his gun. Living in the tupik in the Arctic, it's not an old thing. We still use these. Traditionally it was made out of traditional skins, but today we have access to a lot of different materials, so my tupik is made out of canvas. So my summer home is a tupik, my winter home was Hamma, and iluvigas were only used for short-term housing. At first contact, when the Government of Canada and the RCMP found us, sadly, they destroyed all of our Hammas. They destroyed all of our Hammas so we can stay put in the modern settlement. It was a very devastating day for my beautiful grandmother Pichula when she lost all of her Hammas. So that's where our homes were, in the Arctic.